Welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom, and we begin as usual with Viewers News. And Talking Tom and Friends channel, a regular person on here, reports that Prince Harry is dressed up as Spider-Man to film a Christmas message for kids who have lost a parent. Missouri has executed Kevin Johnson for killing a police officer in 2005. A landslide has hit the Italian island of Ischia, leaving 1 woman dead and 10 missing. A 135-year-old message in a bottle has been found under floorboards somewhere, and an 11-year-old has beaten Stephen Hawking's IQ score. Wow.
Wow, that's one smart kid. 2 other news now, and police have confirmed that a person has died and a dozen more are missing after an explosion in St Helier in Jersey.
Alongside that, 2 people have been treated in hospital after the explosion, which took place at 4 a.m. on Saturday morning. Searches are underway, and Chief of Police Robin Smith said he expected it to take a number of days.
Emergency services said the fire that caused the explosion had been extinguished, and the police force said it was using specialist resources to find anybody trapped in the rubble. However, Jersey Fire and Rescue said pockets of fire had been discovered in the area.
Manchester Airport has closed both of its runways on Saturday morning because of snowfall affecting dozens of flights. Both runways were out of operation until 11:30 a.m. for snow clearance, with no flights able to take off or land during that time.
Passengers complained of waiting for over 3 hours as airport staff tried to clear the tarmac. The news comes as areas of the country have been warned to expect severe weather conditions over the weekend.
The Manchester Airport Group soon posted on Twitter saying operations have resumed from one of our runways since 11:30 a.m. We apologise for any inconvenience caused. Passengers are advised to contact their airline for the most up-to-date flight information.
Sticking with Manchester, where a tourist tax for people making overnight stays in the city is to be introduced. Some 74 hotels and guest houses have signed up to the scheme, which will see people pay an extra £1 per night.
It comes after accommodation providers voted to set up a body called Manchester Accommodation Business Improvement District, or ABID. The idea is to help boost the tourist economy as the city recovers from the recent COVID pandemic.
Before the COVID lockdown struck, Manchester was the 3rd most visited city for international tourists in the UK. Global and domestic tourism contributed £3 billion to the local economy in 2019 and supported more than 100,000 jobs, according to the Greater Manchester Combined Authority.
The ABID will officially come into operation on April 1st next year.
Whether or not that will be an April Fool's prank, I'm yet to know. The boss of the biggest rail workers' union has called on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to meet him in an attempt to resolve the long-running strike action.
Rail workers in Britain have been locked in a dispute over pay, jobs and working conditions since the summer. In a letter to Rishi Sunak, the RMT Union's General Secretary Mike Lynch said talks between the 2 men was now the best way forward.
The next round of strikes is due to start sometime this week. Passengers have been warned only to travel by train if absolutely necessary. During the 2 48-hour strikes on Tuesday and Friday, there will be no trains in some places.
World Cup favourites Brazil suffered a shock defeat to Croatia in the quarter-finals on Saturday, as they were knocked out on penalties following a dramatic 1-1 draw in extra time, leaving Neymar and co. inconsolable.
Neymar could not hide his disappointment after he burst into tears following Brazil's shock elimination from the Qatar World Cup at the hands of Croatia. The forward looked to have sent his team into the semi-finals after his superb 106th-minute goal in extra time gave Brazil a 1-0 lead.
But Bruno Petkovic's deflected strike 4 minutes from time sent the game to spot kicks, where Croatia triumphed in the shootout to break Brazilian hearts. The game ended 4-2.
France says it is increasing the number of rescue boats in the English Channel to deal with the growing number of migrants trying to reach the UK.
2 additional vessels are being deployed in what the French Coast Guard describes as an unprecedented move. It follows criticism of the French response to the incident in November 2021, in which 27 people drowned trying to cross into the UK in a dinghy.
More than 40,000 people have made such crossings this year. The French Coast Guard says the La Pérouse survey vessel has just arrived in the port of Calais, while the Kermorvan patrol ship will be there in the next few days.
A charity led by a black domestic abuse campaigner who was repeatedly asked where she really came from at Buckingham Palace has had to pause its operations because of safety fears.
Sister Space, which supports women of African and Caribbean heritage who have been affected by domestic and sexual abuse, said it was forced to temporarily cease many of its operations after Ngozi Fulani spoke out about her treatment by Lady Susan Hussey.
Mrs. Fulani, who founded the charity, said she had suffered horrific abuse on social media after the royal repeatedly challenged her when she said she was British.
NASA's Orion spacecraft has returned to Earth after a 25-day trip around the Moon, landing on the Pacific Ocean yesterday.
A trouble-free return at the weekend will see astronauts climb aboard Orion for its next mission in late 2024. NASA is planning a series of ever more complex outings for the capsule and its rocket launch as part of its Artemis program.
Orion set off from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida on the 16th of November. It was put into an extended loop around the Moon that saw it reach some 270,000 miles beyond Earth, the furthest any spacecraft designed to carry humans has travelled.
His Majesty King Charles III has hailed the extraordinary diversity and beauty and own enchanting character of each of the ancient trees and woodlands dedicated to his late mother, the Queen.
Writing in the foreword for a new book entitled The Queen's Green Canopy, he paid tribute to Queen Elizabeth II, saying her life touched countless people over many generations and across the world. Among the ancient trees portrayed in the exhibition is Llangenw Ew in Conway, Wales, a living survivor from prehistoric times thought to be germinated in the Bronze Age about 4,000 years ago.
Michael Gove has approved the first new UK coal mine in 30 years despite concern about its climate impacts among Conservative MPs and experts.
The proposed mine in Cumbria would dig up coking coal for steel production in the UK and across the world. Critics say the mine would undermine climate targets and demand for coking coal is declining.
But supporters claim the mine near Whitehaven will create jobs and reduce the need to import coal. The fate of the West Cumbria mining project had been hanging in the balance for 2 years after the local county council initially approved the mine in 2020. And finally, Morocco made history by becoming the first African nation to reach a World Cup semi-final after beating Portugal 1-0.
Each of the previous 3 African sides to reach a quarter-final were all eliminated at this stage: Cameroon in 1990, Senegal in 2002, and Ghana in 2010.
It was a strong start for Morocco, scoring just before half-time when Youssouf En-Nesyri beat the Portuguese keeper to a cross to head home. Well, here we are, we've got breaking news and it doesn't look good. England are out of the World Cup after losing to the reigning world champions, France, in the World Cup quarter-finals in Qatar.
The showdown was the toughest challenge for coach Gareth Southgate in this contest so far, with the score ending at 2-1 to France after a goal in the 16th minute by Aurélien Tchouameni.
This was then followed by a successful penalty from Harry Kane after Tchouameni fouled Bukayo Saka inside the box.
However, Les Bleus made it 2-1 after a goal from Olivier Giroud in the 77th minute of playing time. Skipper Kane then missed a vital penalty that could have equalised the score for England.
Anyways, to your weather now, and tomorrow we'll see spells of snow for northeastern Scotland with the odd wintry shower elsewhere in Scotland. Drier to the south, the patches of fog may again be slow to lift.
Wednesday and Thursday will be sunny for most, but northern and eastern coastlines will likely see wintry showers drifting in from the north. It will remain cold even for this time of year, and that is the weather.
That's all today. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Please subscribe. Follow us on our Facebook page listed down below. Thank you so much for 100 subscribers, by the way, and see you next week.
And don't forget to watch our last news bulletin, which is on the 23rd of December, and our official last episode on the 24th of December.